Selections and writing by Pat Harrington, music by Tim Bragg. This week's curated list spans eras, genres, and continents. Each title is chosen for its resonance with the social, political, and emotional undercurrents shaping our world today. The quiet radicalism of Hobson's choice is thought-provoking. The relentless pressures laid bare in Boiling Point are entertaining. The films and programs here are both stimulating and enjoyable. We move from the richly nostalgic surfaces of Hello, Dolly, to the dystopian disorientation of Total Recall, where the illusion of choice is anything but harmless. Meanwhile, Dead Calm reveals psychological fractures under extreme conditions. Donnie Brasco also highlights these fractures. They invite us to question appearances, allegiances, and identity itself. Elsewhere, stories like The Cruel Sea and Radical remind us of the human toll of war and inequality. Documentaries such as Are You Autistic? And Jack the Ripper, written in blood, challenge cultural assumptions and offer fresh perspectives on visibility, justice, and memory. Every program has been selected by Pat Harrington with an eye for cultural depth and contemporary relevance. The accompanying music is composed and performed by Tim Bragg. The films, series, and documentaries featured this week invite us to look more closely. We are encouraged to examine not just the screen but the systems and stories that shape our lives. This is culture not as escape, but as a mirror, a question, and, sometimes, a quiet call to action.
Saturday the 5th of April, 2025. Hobson's Choice, 1954. Talking Pictures, 1535. David Lean's adaptation of Harold Brighouse's play offers a nuanced look at class and gender. It examines self-determination in Victorian England. The film examines how people were treated based on their class and gender. It highlights individual struggle for self-determination. Charles Laughton plays Henry Hobson, a tyrannical boot shop owner whose eldest daughter, Maggie, resists patriarchal control with quiet determination. Through the lens of familial rebellion and unlikely romance, the film challenges the era's rigid social hierarchy and gender roles. Hobson's decline is both comic and tragic. It reflects on the cost of dominance and the rise of a new kind of working-class confidence. The understated triumph of Maggie offers a quietly radical vision of female agency. Hello, Dolly. 1969. BBC Two, 1515. Gene Kelly's big-screen musical is lavish and nostalgic. It evokes the golden age of Broadway. It offers escapism during a time of great cultural upheaval. Barbara Streisand's Dolly Levi is a force of nature, manipulative, glamorous, but undeniably empowering. Beneath its sparkle lies an undercurrent of social longing. Women maneuver for independence. Men grapple with loneliness. Working people are caught in the dance of capitalism. The film's grandeur sometimes obscures its quieter commentaries on matchmaking as social strategy and self-invention as survival. Total Recall, 1990. 5 Action, 9 p.m. Paul Verhoeven's sci-fi spectacle, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, melds mind-bending narrative with biting political satire. The film is set in a dystopian future where memories can be manufactured. It critiques corporate colonization, surveillance, and the illusion of choice. At its core is a meditation on identity. It explores what it means to remember ourselves. It questions whether rebellion can be authentic when even memories are suspect. Beneath the explosions and action is a deep disquiet about class oppression and capitalist control. Dead Calm, 1989. 5-star, 2335. This tense thriller is set on the open sea. It dissects the psychological effects of trauma and control. Nicole Kidman's portrayal of a grieving woman thrust into a life-or-death struggle is layered with strength and vulnerability. Sam Neill and Billy Zane round out a trio exploring masculinity, guilt, and manipulation. The isolation of the yacht setting magnifies the film's exploration of power dynamics and survival instinct. As the characters navigate physical and emotional currents, Dead Calm questions the facade of civility. It also examines the latent violence in relationships.
Sunday the 6th of April, 2025. The Cruel Sea, 1953. BBC 2, 10:30. This British wartime drama navigates the perilous waters of the Atlantic. It also explores the emotional landscapes of those caught in the theatre of war. Charles Friend directed it. The film is based on Nicholas Monsarrat's novel. It focuses on the lives of Royal Navy officers during the Battle of the Atlantic. With understated but powerful performances, the film reflects on the psychological cost of prolonged conflict. Themes of duty, trauma, and leadership emerge through moments of moral ambiguity and sacrifice. The Cruel Sea is not just a tale of naval endurance. It is a study of the fragility of conscience amid the dehumanizing effects of war. The Lady Vanishes, 1938. BBC 2, 12:30. Alfred Hitchcock's early masterpiece weaves political paranoia with biting social commentary. During a European train journey, an elderly woman disappears. A young traveler suspects foul play. She then finds herself gaslit by those around her. Beyond its engaging mystery, the film critiques British complacency in the face of rising fascism in Europe. The vanishing lady becomes a metaphor for ignored truths and selective blindness. With sharp wit and moral tension, Hitchcock reveals how fear can shape perception. Denial influences geopolitical fate too.
Monday the 7th of April, 2025. Donnie Brasco, 1997. Great Movies, 9 p.m. Mike Newell's mob drama is a haunting portrayal of blurred identities and ethical compromise. It is based on a true story. The film follows undercover FBI agent Joe Pistone, Johnny Depp. He infiltrates the mafia under the alias Donnie Brasco. What begins as professional deception gradually turns into emotional entanglement, particularly with Al Pacino's aging hitman, Lefty. The film explores the corrosive effects of undercover work, raising questions about loyalty, masculinity, and the emotional cost of policing. It's a compelling reflection on how institutions shape, and sometimes erode, the identities of those who serve them.
Tuesday the 8th of April, 2025. Are You Autistic? Channel 5, 7 p.m. This thoughtful documentary explores the lived experiences of autistic individuals in the UK. It challenges outdated stereotypes. Combining personal testimonies, expert analysis, and social critique, it provides an inclusive platform for neurodiverse voices. The program raises questions about diagnosis disparities, especially among women. It also highlights issues for people of color. It unpacks how structural biases affect access to support. The documentary does not portray autism as something to be solved. Instead, it views neurodiversity as an essential aspect of the human spectrum. It advocates for dignity, autonomy, and systemic change. Jack the Ripper, Written in Blood. Sky History, 9 p.m. This crime documentary revisits the infamous Whitechapel murders. It does so through a literary lens. It explores how the Ripper case influenced writers. It also examines the impact on the true crime genre. It reflects on Victorian anxieties about gender, urbanization, and the unknown other. The program critiques our cultural obsession with violent men by framing the investigation around narrative and myth. It also critiques the commodification of female suffering. It subtly asks whether retelling these crimes can illuminate justice, or perpetuate a morbid fascination that overshadows the victims. Lord of War, 2005. Legend, 9 p.m. Andrew Niccol's scathing satire tracks the rise and fall of an international arms dealer, Nicolas Cage. It shows how he exploits conflict for profit. With dark wit and razor-sharp commentary, the film dismantles the moral justifications of the global arms trade. It offers a critique of state complicity, global inequality, and the hypocrisy of Western interventionism. Cage's charismatic yet hollow anti-hero becomes a symbol of late-stage capitalism, where war is commodified and ethics are expendable. The result is a film that's as provocative as it is politically urgent. Glass, 2019. Film 4, 2250. M. Night Shyamalan's psychological thriller blends superhero mythos with questions of institutional power and personal identity. Three individuals, each with extraordinary abilities, are confined to a psychiatric facility. The film critiques how society labels those who deviate from the norm. It also examines how society suppresses them. Beneath its genre stylings is a meditation on belief, stigma, and the mechanisms of control. Glass asks if embracing difference is an act of rebellion or if it's a delusion. It questions whether truth is defined by those who hold power. The Secret Genius of Modern Life, 2/5. BBC 2, 8 p.m. This engaging tech documentary series continues with its second episode. It unpacks the complex systems behind everyday innovations. Host Hannah Fry brings a socially conscious lens to the tools and technologies that quietly shape our lives. Episode 2 dissects a seemingly mundane object to reveal global networks of data, infrastructure, and corporate power. With clarity and charm, Fry makes the invisible visible. She demonstrates how our modern conveniences are embedded in wider narratives of surveillance, labor, and control. Stillwater, 2021. Film 4, 9 p.m. A subtle, character-driven thriller, Stillwater follows an American father, Matt Damon. He travels to France to help his daughter. She is imprisoned for a murder she claims she didn't commit. What begins as a story of rescue, it evolves into a meditation on cultural difference. It also explores personal redemption and the limitations of good intentions. The film critiques American exceptionalism and explores the quiet complexities of guilt, justice, and reconciliation across borders. Damon's restrained performance adds depth to a man struggling to do right in a world he barely understands.
Thursday the 10th of April, 2025. Ron's Gone Wrong, 2021. Film 4, 11 o'clock. In this animated sci-fi comedy, a misfit boy befriends a malfunctioning robot. This friendship sparks a heartfelt journey through the digital age's pitfalls and promises. Underneath the humor and charm lies a sharp critique of tech monopolies, data harvesting, and algorithmic conformity. The film champions human connection over curated perfection, subtly encouraging young audiences to question the values of online life. Ron's Gone Wrong succeeds not just as family entertainment, but as a parable about friendship, autonomy, and resisting manufactured identities. Heavens Above. 1963. Talking Pictures, 11:20. Peter Sellers stars in this satirical comedy as a well-meaning clergyman. He tries to put Christian ethics into practice. This causes horror to the British establishment. What unfolds is a sharp, occasionally surreal takedown of class privilege, institutional hypocrisy, and the commodification of charity. The film explores what happens when ideals clash with entrenched power, and whether genuine compassion can survive a capitalist system. It remains a timely reminder of how radical kindness can be in a world bent on maintaining hierarchy. Radical, 2023. Film 4, 2340. Based on a true story, Radical portrays a teacher's transformative impact. The setting is a classroom in one of Mexico's most under-resourced schools. The film resists sentimentalism, instead presenting a grounded narrative about the liberating potential of education. It explores structural inequality, youth aspiration, and the quiet heroism of educators in forgotten places. With nuance, Radical reminds viewers that change often begins not with grand gestures. It begins with everyday courage and belief in human potential.
Friday the 11th of April, 2025. The Duchess. BBC 1, 2240. This period drama is inspired by the life of Georgiana Cavendish. It illuminates the constraints placed on aristocratic women in 18th century England. Keira Knightley delivers a compelling performance as a woman whose public charm masks private anguish within a loveless political marriage. The film critiques patriarchal norms. It draws parallels to contemporary debates about agency, reputation, and the double standards applied to women in power. Visually sumptuous, it blends historical drama with feminist undercurrents. Licorice Pizza, 2021. BBC 2, 2305. Paul Thomas Anderson's coming-of-age film captures 1970s California. It tells the story of the odd couple friendship between a teenage boy and a 20-something woman. Beneath its nostalgia and loose plotting lies a sensitive meditation on youth, consent, and the elasticity of identity. The film's quirky tone hides deeper thoughts on gender dynamics. It shows how personal growth can mirror broader social change. Its ambiguity invites reflection rather than judgment, asking viewers to sit with discomfort and charm in equal measure. Mona Lisa, 1986. Film 4, 2320. Neil Jordan's noir-inflected drama examines the underworld of 1980s London. It is seen through the eyes of an ex-con played by Bob Hoskins. He becomes a chauffeur for a high-class sex worker. As their relationship deepens, the film peels back layers of violence, exploitation, and longing. Mona Lisa confronts questions of power, class, and moral compromise, offering no easy redemption. With atmospheric direction and standout performances, it remains a searing character study. The film explores damaged souls who are seeking dignity in an indifferent world. Shirley Bassey Night, Friday the 11th of April, 2025. BBC 4, from 2110. Shirley Bassey at the BBC Volume 2. 2110. A glittering showcase of Bassey's televised performances. This compilation celebrates her vocal dynamism and enduring appeal. Moving through decades of BBC archives, it reveals the evolution of her musical style. It also shows the cultural impact of her stage presence. In an industry often dismissive of women's longevity, Bassey's poise and power defy expectation. Shirley Bassey at the Royal Albert Hall, 1974. 2240. She was captured at the height of her international fame. This performance is more than just a concert. It's a statement of grandeur, identity, and artistic command. Her voice resonates not only through the hall, but also across generations as a symbol of resilience and star power. Imagine Dame Shirley Bassey, the girl from Tiger Bay. 2325. This documentary explores the creation of Bassey's 2009 album. The performance was a significant project. It also provides a portrait of an artist who continually reinvents herself. Bassey started from working-class roots in Cardiff. She rose to international stardom. Her journey is extraordinary. It is also emblematic of wider struggles around race, gender, and belonging in British cultural life. Dame Shirley Bassey, Electric Proms 2009. 020, Saturday. This stylish live session showcases Bassey with a full orchestra. She performs both classics and new material. The Electric Proms highlight her versatility and continued relevance, defying the industry's ageist expectations and celebrating her artistic evolution. Shirley Bassey at the BBC. 120, Saturday. This collection is retrospective and complements the earlier volume. This hour of classic BBC performances captures Bassey in a variety of moods. The performances span different eras. It's a fitting close to the night, both nostalgic and empowering, reminding us why she remains a national icon.
And finally, streaming choices from Friday the 11th of April, 2025. The Gardener, series, 6 episodes. Netflix. This series is visually rich. It explores the quiet tension between nature and nurture. This exploration happens through the lens of 6 distinctive garden landscapes. Each episode subtly links the act of cultivation to wider social and psychological themes: grief, healing, resistance, and hope. The Gardener invites reflection on climate anxiety, care work, and the fragile beauty of ecosystems. It offers more than aesthetic pleasure. It's a meditative, political act. The Handmaid's Tale, Seasons 1 to 5. Channel for streaming. This acclaimed series is based on Margaret Atwood's dystopian novel. It traces a totalitarian regime. In this regime, women's rights have been stripped away. Across 5 seasons, it interrogates the intersections of gender, power, and resistance. What begins as an allegory becomes an evolving commentary on contemporary authoritarianism, reproductive justice, and the psychology of survival. The series is harrowing yet defiant, a warning and a rallying cry. Vulture presents Cold Summer, Season 1. Channel for streaming. This drama is set in the wake of the Balkan conflicts. It is a slow-burning story. It follows a former soldier navigating a fractured homeland. With stark cinematography and restrained performances, Cold Summer explores guilt, memory, and the search for redemption. It avoids sensationalism, focusing instead on the emotional and moral aftermath of war. The series invites viewers to witness the personal cost of history. It also shows the quiet strength needed to live in its shadow.